You ready? Yeah. Okay. Well, hello to you both. I'm going to sort of do it in two halves if that helps. So I'm going to start with you, Sarah. Yeah. Moneyfield in the playoff, obviously, to get there, they've had to lose. Do you feel like maybe that you've had the best run into this game?
I don't know about that. I think they've had a positive season. I think that was always going to be tough for them. Like whoever lost that game last weekend, I think they'll probably just use that as extra momentum to want to come and put on a performance against us. So we need to be prepared for that as well, which we definitely will be.
Last time, obviously, in pre-season, there was nothing to separate the two of you. Are you hoping that maybe you can right the wrongs and come out on top?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was right at the beginning of the season, obviously. So we've developed, they're probably developed, but I think we're in a good position now, ready to go into that game on Sunday and get the win.
Yeah, I suppose Annie always talks about the sort of preparations into these sort of games. I'd like to say that Annie probably knows all the facts, but are you making sure that you're pretty knowledgeable on their team too?
Yeah, like they've done a really good presentation, which we saw last night, of a stat on every single player. So
that's Ethan. Give Ethan all the credit for that.
Ethan's done a nice little page where we click on a player and it tells us all the information we need about that player. So we've got no excuse for not knowing something about a certain player because that's literally all going to be in a document in front of us.
I suppose you've played your fair share of games at sort of a high level. How are you not letting the occasion overwhelm yourself until that whistle goes?
I think you just need to stay calm. I think just literally take one training session at a time and not think too far ahead. We've been pretty relaxed going into this week, so we're just really excited, to be fair.
Yeah, I have heard that Sunday there was a post-match Wagamama's trip. Is that sort of in preparation to maybe the celebrations expected?
Maybe. I don't know. We can't speak too much about celebrations, obviously, because we just want to focus on the game. So whatever happens after the game, yeah, we don't know.
Should the game perhaps be pretty close and you don't want to go to penalties, can we expect you to maybe get up on the pitch? I know at the start of the season there was talks of you being a striker. Can we expect maybe the first goal at Norwich?
I don't know, you have to gaff for that one. He wouldn't even let me come along in Sudbury when we were getting desperate for a player.
Would you fancy yourself maybe for a goal if you got that opportunity?
Oh yeah, definitely. Who wouldn't? Like every goalkeeper wants to score goals to be a striker, don't they? But hopefully we're not that desperate that has to happen.
Yeah. Should obviously maybe you don't get a goal and it does go to penalties. How do you fancy yourself against the Moneyfield strikers and things?
Yeah, we're ready. We've been practicing penalties for a while now. We've been doing it I don't know if it's a secret, but we've been doing it at the end of every training session. So we're prepared as we can be for penalties.
Yeah. At the start of the season, I know you obviously sort of had a lengthy injury about your hand. Obviously, the goalkeeper union seems to be quite great in between you and Holly. You've kept plenty of clean sheets, but are you expecting maybe an extra one at the weekend?
Hopefully that would be nice, wouldn't it? I think if we get a clean sheet, then obviously means we win the game. But yeah, hopefully it is that simple. But yeah.
I'm assuming you're going to start at the weekend, but obviously Holly's kept you all in the league, and obviously you came back into the squad and finished it off, I guess. What have you made of your goalkeeper union this season?
Yeah, we've been great. I think we'll probably give you a few headaches because we can be like two little children at times. But no, we get on well. We're both going to support each other. Whoever plays will back each other anyway.
Mm-hmm. Last one for me, obviously, as I said, you've played plenty of games in your time. Where does this rank in terms of the games you've played so far?
It's definitely up there. Definitely up there with one of the biggest ones. Obviously, we've worked so hard all season, so just to get that win on Sunday will be one of the best.
Yeah, and who maybe will celebrate the most in that changing room at the end?
I don't know. Everyone's got a wild side to them. Probably Freya will be up there though.
Yeah. Well, thank you ever so much and good luck. Yeah. Obviously, moving on to you, Andy. Moneyfield again. You said you've prepared plenty. Do you feel like you are prepared enough yet?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as Quan said, myself and Ethan, Hugh have put a lot of work into what we feel Moneyfields will bring, how they'll work, and Ethan's been working on a document when we didn't know who we were playing, whether it was Swindon or Moneyfields, a document that he's put together. That we basically, it's a little one pager where players can, as Quan said, hover over a position and it brings up strengths and weaknesses of the player, what they do, and how that links to that individual tactically, what they'll try to do, the runs they'll try to make, and all those things. So the depth and the detail we've got into is as good as anything that's probably across the leagues in the country, and we're really proud of the piece of work that we've put together to prepare for this. And to be honest, it's one where we've allowed ourselves the time to do that because we had it in our minds that we felt that was the best way to go about it. So we're really pleased with it.
Yeah, you sound fully prepared, and I'm expecting no goals from the other team now. So what would it mean to keep a clean sheet?
Well, it would be everything. We just need to make sure that defensively we're sound, we're solid. And if we can do that, hopefully one of the several players we have that can change the game in the final third will do so. And yeah, if the back line, if all the players are prepared well this week, that gives us the best opportunity on Sunday to do that.
Yeah, in terms of the squad, obviously Lauren Hales made an appearance back at Carrow Road, but there was the likes of no Liv Cook or Ellie Bishop or Poppy Francis. Can you touch on the decision to bring Lauren back for the game, and obviously the decision to not play certain players?
Yeah, Halesy's been fantastic. Like when she went, it was her decision. She asked if she could go on a dual registration to Wroxham, and we backed it because it allowed her time to go and play in an environment that would ultimately give her minutes. And she was such a confidence player in training. She was up there scoring goals, and one where we would go off the pitch and go, Halesy's done well today. So when we had the discussion, we were like, you know what? And it was actually the one where we went to the floor and just saying, look, if Halesy was available for us, we'd probably be putting her back in the squad right now. So we had that discussion with Wroxham, with Halesy, and that's why she was back in the squad. It's all her hard work. It's nothing to do with us. It's just the graft that she's shown in training and the ability that she's shown at Wroxham. The decision around other players, it's always tough. It's usually a tactical decision. It's usually something I'm thinking for the changes when we're going onto the pitch and what we want as the game goes on and how we feel the game may play itself out, and that'll be the same for this weekend. So it's tough because that's the hardest bit of the job, because ultimately I've been there myself and Quant has and everyone has. You know, when you don't get picked to start, you just think that the coach thinks you're rubbish. And if you don't get picked in the full 18, you just think I'm the worst player in the world, which isn't the case. Every single one of the 25, 26 players we have in the squad train brilliantly. Even, you know, we got a couple of girls that have trained up with the 16s this year. They've been fantastic. But it's sometimes unfortunate that I can only pick 18 of them. I can only pick 11 to start. And as football is, it's a game based on opinions. And my opinion, unfortunately, for them is the one that counts, because it's my job to pick a team. And when they're not on the right side of that, I openly say to the players, call me all the names under the sun, do whatever you need to do to get out of your system, because I'd do the same. But you've got to understand it is never a personal decision. It isn't that. It's a tactical decision, or it's a decision that I'm making based on what I'm seeing, whether it's, as we just said, Halesy's shown great determination and character, and she's trained really well, so we put her back in the squad. And yeah, it's one where the players that haven't been in the squad, they've showed all of those things. But unfortunately, I've decided to go with Halesy, for instance, and brought her back in because I felt she could show us those qualities in the game when it comes to the weekend. So it's always the hardest part of the job, because that's the real human part. You know, imagine you guys could only pick one journalist or one photographer to come to this, and you had 5 to pick. I would imagine a lot of people would start to go, I can only pick one of you. So it's one of the hardest things you can do.
I suppose throughout the season, that bench and obviously the starting line from those players not started has had a fair bit of rotation, and the likes of obviously Ellie Bishop on a full-time contract are sort of missing out at the moment. How have you kept them all happy this season?
Well, I haven't. The simple thing is unhappy in that sense, and it's just that it's a tough part of the job. I'll try my best and try and explain my reasons, and I think Quants and the players will back this up. I speak to them in regards to the way that we tell the team. I'll give them the reasons why they're in or why they're not in, and then after that, I'm more than happy to try and speak to them again. Unfortunately, they're probably not going to like what I'm going to say. So if they're not in the squad, it's my opinion. It's just the way that it falls, unfortunately.
Yeah, I suppose you definitely have, though, kept the fans happy this season, and there seems to be a coach load or so coming down. What would it mean for you to have them there and obviously in full voice?
It would be everything, you know. The way that the fans have been, the away games this season has been brilliant. You know, like I've just mentioned there, Dulwich, it was great. Obviously at home at Carrow Road, it was fantastic at the weekend. So if we could put a performance on that they're proud of, that they get loud for, that they're shouting, and that they can really get behind, I think we know we're doing well. So yeah, it will mean everything. But like I say, there's going to be tough moments this weekend because Moneyfields are a good side, and we have to be ready to earn the right. And if we can do that on the pitch, I'm hoping the fans will back us, and throughout the whole of the 90 minutes, they're as loud as they have been all season.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of playing at Burton, you've said you've played there before and you've won. How keen are you to keep a winning streak there?
Well, yeah, if we do that, everyone will be happy. So I'm really keen. It was great to play there a few years ago to lift the league trophy with Nottingham Forest, but I think for me it would be even better now to win this playoff game with Norwich and help Quants and Tash and Smithy and everyone that's been at the club for so long, to lift us into tier 3. And they're the bits that when you go to bed after we've had the long days here and you start to dream about what might be, they're the bits that you allow your mind to explore those little bits when you lay in bed, just go and wonder what could be. And then you wake up the next morning, reality kicks, and you've got to go and plan and prepare. So, yeah, I'm excited to finish this prep conference to go and train now, because that's what we want to do with the job, and that'll show us where we are and hopefully build us confidence going into Thursday night now.
Yeah, obviously, big news, Grace Wigler coming out and signing a new contract. How much of a part has she been in this squad, and how much are you hoping that she'll play a part on Sunday?
Well, if she gets picked, she will play a big part in the game. She's been fantastic, as a person, as a player. She's been huge. Obviously, 20 goals. She's got player of the season and fully deserved. She came in off the back of a tough season for her personally. And Grace, not a lot of people know about her, but she's had a lot of tough moments in her life previously and stuff that she'll look back on and she'll use every day as motivation to keep herself in the right place and make sure that she's performing every session, every week, and she's shown that every week that she's played. So she's been great. She's been a great player to work with, great person to talk to as well, and yeah, we just and she's introduced us to the board game partners, which is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, she's if she was to leave tomorrow, the best thing she's done, other than scoring 20 goals, is introduce us all to the board game partners. So if anyone is not aware of it, search it. It's brilliant. It's Danish, we believe, but what a game.
What sort of games can we expect on the coach, maybe, that will make an appearance on your Instagram this weekend?
Maybe partners. The lads were on about play. We played poker a lot. Myself, Will, Hugh, and Ethan, and we might play that a little bit, but we haven't played that for a while because partners has taken over. Ethan has a few good games as well for the bus, which is always good. But yeah, to be honest, it's their dodgy music that really says whether it's been a good bus journey or not. So. Yeah, there's a lot of Olivia Dean, as you can imagine. That happens a lot, but yeah, you can't turn a radio on without hearing her at the moment. So yeah, it's we'll see what happens. But partners, what a game.
Yeah, I suppose in terms of the game, should you win, can we expect any sort of touchline runs or any sort of wild celebrations like that?
You can search when Nottingham Forest scored their 3rd goal at Burton Albion, and you can see what happened in that game. That'll give you an idea of what could happen. But we've got to make sure we're ready, we're prepared, and that we're going to earn the right to play in that first 30, 45, 50, 60 minutes, and we're going to get ourselves in the right position where you lot watching are going, this Norwich team really want this.
Yeah. Well, thank you ever so much to the two of you, and good luck this weekend.
Cheers, Izzy.
Thank you.